The Silk Road is widely remembered as an ancient highway built by ambitious merchants looking to trade luxury goods. But the actual origin of the route involves a state fighting for its life against the Xiongnu, a fierce confederation of nomadic warrior tribes attacking the Han dynasty from the north. Emperor Wu of the Han dynasty needed allies to survive the constant border raids. In 138 BC, he sent an envoy named Zhang Qian into the unknown Western territories to find military support. Qian did not find the political alliance he was looking for. Instead, he found the Daiyuan, a civilization in Central Asia, and he found their horses. The Han military already used horses in warfare, but the Daiyuan breeds were entirely different beasts. They were significantly larger, stronger, and faster, perfectly engineered for a head-on charge. Emperor Wu saw the exact solution to his border crisis. He bought these Western horses, bred them, and deployed this upgraded cavalry to finally push back the Xiongnu threat. That single transaction proved to the emperor that the Western territories held assets vital to Chinese security. In 130 BC, he officially opened a 4,000-mile corridor to ensure reliable, permanent access to them. The most extensive commercial highway in history began entirely as a military procurement strategy. Crossing 4,000 miles of lethal deserts and freezing mountain passes is a logistical nightmare. A single merchant trying to walk a caravan from central China all the way to the Mediterranean would almost certainly die trying. Instead of one massive journey, traders built a decentralized relay system. A merchant travels a fraction of the distance, sells his cargo, and turns around. With goods constantly changing hands, the physical spaces between these handoffs required heavy security. To protect the high-value cargo and the people moving it, massive structures called caravanserai, heavily fortified guest houses, sprang up at regular intervals along the routes. When you concentrate travelers from dozens of different nations into shared resting stops, they exchange ideas alongside their spices. These way stations grew into massive centers of learning, allowing religions like Buddhism to spread rapidly from India into China. By solving the immediate problem of keeping merchants alive, they accidentally built a global communication network. By the time this network reached Europe, the Roman Empire had developed an absolute obsession with Chinese silk. They bought so much of this flawless fabric that it drained their treasury, creating a severe economic crisis. The Romans couldn't simply make it themselves. The Chinese held a strictly guarded monopoly on the process of harvesting silk from silkworms, keeping the rest of the world entirely dependent on their exports. In the 6th century, Eastern Roman Emperor Justinian, ruler of the Byzantine Empire, which survived the fall of Rome, decided to bypass the monopoly entirely. He dispatched 2 men disguised as monks on a covert mission straight into China. The monks successfully acquired live silkworms and hid them inside the hollow shafts of their wooden walking canes, smuggling the entire foundation of the silk industry back to Byzantium. Rome finally had its own domestic silk supply. Extracting guarded knowledge from the trade route was the only way to break a foreign monopoly. For centuries, this corridor endured. It survived bandits, harsh winters, and the collapse of empires. It transported porcelain, tea, the recipe for gunpowder, and even the bacteria responsible for the devastating Black Death. Then, in the 15th century, the Ottoman Empire, a powerful, expanding Islamic state, conquered Byzantium and took control of the critical juncture between Europe and Asia. The Ottomans instituted a strict blockade, entirely cutting off European access to the eastern markets. The massive overland relay system ground to a sudden halt. Desperate to maintain access to Asian goods, European powers were forced to abandon the land. They began pouring resources into naval technology, attempting to sail around the blockade entirely. Ships searching for a watery path to Chinese silk and Indian spices ended up colliding with the Americas. This frantic search for a detour permanently redrew the global map. That forced pivot laid the groundwork for the modern shipping lanes and globalized supply chains that currently keep our own economies running. When a critical lifeline is severed, societies adapt. They innovate and they build entirely new structures to ensure their survival.